Hello to everybody in the VC again. This is Rich, and it's time to tackle the Americana 2024 tag from Sam St. John. And it's only been a week since I did the vinyl tag 2024, which took a bit of a long time to get together. And I figured, thank God this is over. And then last week, I saw somebody was doing a punk rock vinyl tag, and I'm like, yes, I got to get in on this. And so I started gathering that. And then, of course, just the night before last, somebody's done an Americana tag. So I think the Americana tag is easier for me to answer questions to, and I'm going to start with that one. Now, what does Americana mean? This is kind of an amorphous term to me, and I think if I was to be plain, it would be music that Nashville country complex would rather not have associated with them. It's artists that they can kind of push to the side because they don't represent the image that Nashville wants to see on video or have their fans hear on the radio. I've also read many comments in a lot of places about how people just don't believe this is real country music, referring to Americana that I consider to be Americana music. And speaking for myself, I grew up around people who did not listen to country music at all. And to this day, I still don't believe I know anybody who enjoys country music, whether it's the country music I don't like or the Americana that I do. Every once in a while, somebody will begrudgingly admit that they're liking the Sturgill Simpson or Tyler Childers music or Culture Wall music that I'm playing. And, that's step by step and bit by bit, people will come to it, I think. But speaking for myself, many years ago, I happened upon a video of Hank Williams singing I Saw the Light from the early 50s. And I had no reason to be partial to this. I am not a Christian by any sense, any measurement. And I was not a country music fan by the same rubric. But there was something about that song and the way he was singing it. It really spoke to me, and it made me want to dive a little bit deeper. And I could feel that music, even though I'm not a Christian, in much the same way that I feel very deeply roots reggae music, and I'm not a Rastafarian. And so, as someone who would particularly disregard religious music for most of their life, it was a strange thing for me to come to believe that I really enjoyed this stuff, and I did, and I do. And so, a deep dive into Hank Williams' legacy and learning to love his music. If I was to describe it in a more linear process, it would start with listening to Hank Williams and learning to love his catalog, and then discovering Johnny Cash as well and pouring through his catalog, and then Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, up until today. And I also believed what I loved was the contradiction, in particular with Hank Williams, because I'm sure he believed himself to be a Christian man, but his lifestyle and other parts about his life would kind of belie that. But that I didn't really resent him for that. I kind of actually enjoyed that. It made him all the more human to me. And so, to try to be as blunt as possible, Americana music to me is all that's left of what's good country music today. It's the country music you will never hear on popular country radio. It's also country music that you're never going to hear played at any kind of political convention. It means good country music minus the tight blue jeans and the MAGA hats to me. The Nashville music industry would love nothing more than to homogenize this music and to turn it into just one thing. And that one thing is not music that I enjoy. So although some of the artists that I do love and listen to on a regular basis are either from Nashville or have moved to Nashville themselves, they're still not a part of that complex that produces such shitty music on steady rotation. And in Nashville's attempt to maintain this homogeneity, it's that music has become super boring and stupid. And what has become Americana music to me is more raw. It can be ugly, but it's way more beautiful than anything Nashville is producing right now. This music is also unfathomably deep and complicated, and at the same time simple and beautiful. I love it. You don't have to. I still like you anyway. And mainly it seems that these artists that I love that fall into the Americana category are just great musicians and songwriters that have been relegated to a corner of the industry outside of the mainstream, which suits me to a T. I just wish for them that they could see more success because they deserve it. They're hardworking and they are true artists. And really, if you're a fan of Americana music in the same way that I am, you've probably also been to different websites and social media platforms and read the ridiculous comments of people who were claiming they were once fans of so and so, but since they've changed, they can't abide what these people stand for now. That'll mainly go along the lines of Tyler Childers' video with the coal miners. That offended a lot of people because, love. It's the same disingenuous argument that these assholes make about bands like Rage Against the Machine, that they loved Rage Against the Machine until they found out that they were socialist communists. Really deep thinkers, these fans. So, to make a short introductory extra long, Americana music to me is all that's left of good country music and also bears a kinship with classic country music that exists in the same vein, and they are the inheritors of the title, to me, of outlaw country. And again, my thanks to Sam St. John for starting this vinyl tag, and I will do my best to do it justice. All right, number one, we must show our favorite Americana artist. This is a tough one for me because I love so many of them, but I think if it can't be Hank, and really this is an equal measure, it's going to be Willie. And this is the VMP box set for Willie that I got last year that I never get to show off, but I love it. Nobody compares to Willie Nelson when it comes. He is the progenitor of this realm of music. And really, we just saw him a couple months ago. It's good to see he's still kicking. God damn, this thing is heavy. Number two, show an album with a banjo on the cover. And I had more of these than I thought I did, but you have to go with the best banjo player of them all, in my mind, Mr. Scruggs. This is Flatt and Scruggs. It's one of my favorite records, and it's a good one if you haven't given it a chance. And number three asks us to show a great harmony album, and there is no greater country harmonies than the Louvin Brothers, Charlie and Ira. At the risk of repeating myself, because this one was my favorite pickup from 2023 on the last vinyl tag, but there are no greater harmonies. And it's a damn shame some stupid musical producer, record company dipshit, told them that mandolin music was on the way out and they would never sell records with mandolins, so only the early records you're going to hear that great mandolin sound. What a shame. And number four endeavors us to show our favorite female Americana artist, and I'm going to do this in two parts with a classic favorite and a modern favorite. The classic favorite, of course, the great Dolly Parton. And I believe today's finest female country singer, Margot Price. I love all of her records, and I love everything she stands for. Half this fucking video could be me putting records away. And here's some bonus dolly. Bam! And number 5 asks us to show our favorite acoustic cover song. Well, this one is from this group, the awesome Milk Carton Kids, but it's not on this record, and as far as I can tell, it's not on any vinyl record yet, despite my pleas on Discogs and on fan club pages, etc. They do a cover of Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here that I would almost say is the equal of the original. It's really beautiful, and there's different versions on YouTube. You can check it out if you get the chance. It's well worth your time. Number 6 asks us to tell an Americana artist that we would like to see an album from in 2024. And that answer would be the same as 2023 and 2022. And it's Dave Rawlings. It's been a good damn long time since this genius has put out a record. And yeah, I write Acoustic records every once in a while, just asking if anything's coming. I ask record stores. I mean, seriously, there's not enough music from him or Gillian Welch. And they did this last year put out a fucking mystifying reel-to-reel album for like $200 or something. I mean, what? And so to number 7, our favorite Americana album of the year 2023, which is also my favorite album of any genre from 2023. Rustin' in the Rain, Tyler Childers. I tend to think that every new album he puts out is my favorite album of that year, and I haven't been wrong yet. Each one, awesome stuff. And number 8 asks us to show our favorite Beatles acoustic tune, and I don't know if I have just one. I'm a pretty obsessive, insane Beatles fan, but the ones I like most were on here. Rubber Soul, when you could really see the effects that Dylan's music had on him by this time. There's very acoustic numbers here. And Norwegian Wood is a beautiful acoustic tune, but in my own mind, in my life, is also an acoustic song, even though there are electrical elements. It's still a very quiet song, and it's very beautiful. And it's my favorite song of all songs. Number 9 will ask us to show an album with a heartbreaking ballad, and there's a lot of those. But most recently, and the one that hits the hardest still, is Willie Carlisle on this wonderful album. The song is Tulsa's Last Magician. It's a very heartbreaking little song. Probably not a ballad in the traditional sense that some people might think. And most recently, there's a 45. I showed this in my 24 Vinyl Tag 2, I believe. But yeah, Tulsa's Last Magician. Beautiful song. Number 10 asks us to show a song about drinking by an Americana artist or group. And my favorite drinking Americana group, the Punch Brothers. Always hard to describe their music other than I just say virtuoso. They're all incredible players. It's an all-star lineup. And they have more than a couple of songs about drinking, and they seem like a bunch of fun guys. Really good stuff. Number 11, we must show an illustrated album cover. Pow. This might be my favorite illustrated album cover. The beautiful Sound and Fury from Sturgill Simpson. Great little movie to go along with this one too. Awesome album. That cover is dope. And number 12 asks us to show an album that is an acoustic album by a band that is traditionally non-acoustic. And since I don't have anything like Alice in Chains Unplugged or Pearl Jam Unplugged, I really couldn't find anything to show for this, and I feel properly ashamed. So, yeah. And number 13 endeavors us to show an Americana supergroup, and to my mind, there are only two. And the first one I just shown earlier is the Punch Brothers. Incredible virtuosos, everyone on every instrument. And secondly, Dave Rawlings Machine, another super group. Dave, Jillian, the great Willie Watson, the inimitable Paul Cowart on bass. It's great stuff. And I'm going to stray off into the realm of honorable mentions on the Americana supergroup theme because it doesn't get any better than the collection of artists assembled on Another Day, Another Time, music from Inside Llewyn Davis. You can see that on the listing here. This is an absolute once in a lifetime gathering of the best of the Americana genre, with very few exceptions. And might just be my favorite concert film of all time. And number 14 asks us to show an Americana artist that we never got to see live. And I came far too late to the John Prine party to have been able to see him. And it breaks my heart because hearing this record, it's a classic, and I really wish I could have seen him live to sing any of these songs. And number 15 asks us to name an Americana artist that we would love to see live but have not got a chance to yet. And I think at the top of that list is a double bill of two headliners that happened right at the time of COVID. We were living in New Jersey and had bought floor seats in Philadelphia to see the great Sturgill Simpson and the awesome Tyler Childers. We were looking forward to this show so much, and it was canceled 2 days before the date because Sturgill got COVID and the crew was down sick, and it was a heartbreaker. And I don't think this double bill will ever have a chance to happen again, so it's all the more a shame. And continuing with number 15, a couple of honorable mentions that I haven't seen yet, but plan to as soon as I possibly can. I have the awesome Orville Peck. Would love to see that show. Jason Isbell as well, in any iteration. 400 unit, solo, I don't care. And the old 97s. All these groups I'm hoping to have a chance to see sometime really soon. And number 16 asks us to name the Americana group or act that we have seen the most. And that is really no contest for me, and this is embarrassment of riches because we have seen the Avett Brothers in a number of places. I think first off, we saw them a few times in Missouri, and then we saw them in Brooklyn, and we saw them in Baltimore, and just a few months ago, we saw them with Willie Nelson out in Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. And yeah, I'd still see them again. I wouldn't care if they're playing tomorrow. It's one of the best bands out there, nicest people, and the nicest people at the concerts that you're ever likely to meet. Number 17 asks of us to name our favorite Americana duet. And I'm not a huge fan of the male-female duet, the Johnny and June Carter, Cash kind of thing. It's all good. But, when I think two artists on the same track and having it work very well, I think of this album, Culture Wall and Tyler Childers duetting on the classic Fraulein. It's a beautiful song, and it's great to hear these two distinct voices singing this song. Number 18 asks us to name 5 lesser-known Americana artists, and I guess this is a very individualized thing because somebody I could think of as lesser known could be your favorite artist or vice versa. But if there's any way to amplify these people and groups that I don't know a lot of people know about, then I'm definitely willing to do it. I think. And number 1 would be the great Willie Carlisle, aforementioned earlier. Incredible stuff, and hopefully he's working on his second full length that he'll bless us with soon. And number 2, speaking of aforementioned, the Milk Carton Kids, incredible group. Very virtuoso guitar players and great harmonizers as well. They're an incredible group, especially if you get a chance to see them live. And third on that list would be the amazing Mountain Goats, who obviously don't need no help from me, but if you haven't listened to them, it's worth your time. And number 4, and I'm sorry if you don't already know, the incredible Billy Strings. This is my favorite album of his, Home. Everything is really good, but this one is particularly very good. And for numbers 4 and 5 in this, it's Bill Plain and Nick Shoulders, two new 45s I got from Armadillo Till Recordings, and they're great stuff. You should try them. Number 19 asks us to show the first Americana record that we owned, and for me, it was this little beauty right here, this box set of the Hank Williams story. It comes with a snazzy 8x10 that I've got matted and framed on the wall over there. But I did say my first intro to this music was through Hank, and I played these things to death. I still love every one of them. And for number 20, Sam St. John asks us to name one channel to hop onto the thread. And sadly, I don't think I know anybody in the vinyl community. I know very few people. I just started this. But I would ask anybody who has any interest in this music at all to jump on this thread and to check out the others using this tag, because it's been a lot of fun. And I'm glad I had a chance to do it. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll make the punk rock vinyl tag eventually.